Hello, and welcome to the Her Hustle Mega Workshop 2020. I'm DeShelia Spann, and I will be sharing with you today on the fear of success. I'm so excited to talk to you guys about a topic that I think is so important, especially for young female women as they're moving out and taking that leap of faith into their entrepreneurial goals and development. So let's get started. I'm going to share some slides with you and talk with you a little bit about how to overcome the fear of success. All right, so let's dig in. So as I mentioned, we're going to talk today about overcoming the fear of success. This is something that we often deal with when we are ready to embark on a new challenge, opportunity, or a chance to really excel in our career or industry of choice. And for women, the fear of success is something that we often have to overcome to be able to just grasp and take hold of that opportunity. So before we dig deep into the topic, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name again is DeShelia Spann. I'm a certified professional coach, marketing strategist with over 20 years of experience in marketing and branding for both big brands and some mid-sized brands. I'm also an author and a serial entrepreneur. And yes, I'm a dog mom to a 62-pound Shepherd Whippet mixed dog. So I know a little bit about this thing called success and our fear in leaping into it. And the reason why I find this important is because I had to overcome this when I started my first business, which was actually a photography business. And in my photography business, one of the challenges that I had was I kicked it off. It was great. It was super successful at the launch. And then I didn't know what to do to maintain that success. And so that fear creeped in of what's next. So I want to share with you some things I learned and some things that will help you as you branch out into the next stage of your career. So why are we afraid of success? This is the question that a lot of us ask because we're so used to hearing about the fear of failure. And that's something we also struggle with. But the fear of success often creeps in because we're so close to reaching our goal that we don't know sometimes if we can actually, once achieving it, maintain it. And so we're going to talk about some of those things that really cause you to have that fear of success and that you struggle with. And I'll tell you, in my photography business, I never thought that I would even think about this when I first started it. Because I was so focused on branding the business, getting it out the door, getting clients, having my website up, showing my skills and my talents. I didn't think about what happened after that was successful. I wanted a successful launch, but I wasn't quite ready for what happened next. And so some of the things that, happened became real revelations for me. And the first one was, you start to think in your head, what if I can't create or produce at this level again? You've launched your business, you launched your product or service. It's been a successful launch. People are drawn to you. You get all the momentum going. You get the press and you get that excitement of those first couple of sales. And then you say to yourself, but can I produce at this level again? And now you also think to yourself, what are the expectations that people have now put on me because I have been so successful with this first venture? And that's a little bit how I felt when I launched my photography business, because I was ready to launch it and I was ready to get out in the world and I was ready to produce good work. But what I didn't think about was, oh my gosh, what comes next? And for me, that creating and producing at that same level came in the form of when I went out and did shoots, or when I did weddings and things like that. Can I always create that magic at every shoot or every wedding or every event that I created the first time that drew them to my business? The next thing is, you also think about what's the new expectation, that people will have of me now that I've launched this? Because now once you've launched a business and it's been successful, we kind of let that voice creep into us where we're saying, oh my goodness, are they going to expect this magic every time? Can I do this? What are people expecting from me? Are they looking for this next big thing I'm going to do? Are they looking for it in 3 months, 6 months to a year? So some of those revelations will start to creep in around that success that you've had. And then the third one is, how will this change my comfort zone? And for a lot of us, that comfort zone could be, how does this change how I'm viewed or how I interact professionally? So in my work environment or with my colleagues or business partners or potential ventures, how do I navigate this new zone I'm in? And then personally, it's how do I deal with the relationships, of family and friends now that I may have found this newfound success? How do I manage that? How do I make sure that, I stay true to me and my values and my feelings and beliefs, and I stay grounded even though the success has grown around me? And then finally, financially. And this is one of the big things that we look at. When you look at growing and developing a business, once you hit that success, the financial, accolades from that come next. So how do you manage the financial part of it? How do you make sure that you're still growing your business and still excelling? And can you produce that number of sales or that revenue? Can you continue to bring in the same clients? So that success that you first feel, sometimes it becomes to permeate in you as something of revelations of why we have this fear of success. So there are 3 key elements that I like to share with you today that will really help you to embrace and manage success. And I think, there's a lot of ways that you can do this, but this is a great starting point for you that will get you motivated and help you as you're moving forward, especially as you're looking at entrepreneurship, because that's a big opportunity to grow a business and a brand that is keenly focused on you and really around what you're passionate about. And I want to see you guys be successful in that. So I want to give you some key elements to think about so that you feel comfortable with taking the leap into entrepreneurship. So first, let's talk about the number 1. Face your fears head on. And what does that mean, to face your fears head on? A lot of times that when we get caught up in thinking about why we're afraid to take the leap or why we're jumping because we see success on the other side, we also have to think about understanding what first has driven us to have that level of fear. So the first thing you need to do is explore all the negative thoughts and feelings that have crept into your mind as you're thinking about, taking a new venture on or launching a business or entering a partnership. What are the things that are happening inside you internally? What is that feeling you have? What is your gut telling you? Don't ignore that. Acknowledge whatever negative thoughts you're having and embrace them, and make sure that you understand why you're feeling that way, because that's very important. The next thing to explore would be, how do you change the narrative? So you've looked at and explored the negative thoughts and feelings you may have. You have acknowledged that you have that nervousness about leaning into something that could be successful for you. But now you need to think about, how do you change the narrative? How do you change how you're thinking about your goals and what your objectives are so that you can really step forward and achieve what you want in life and in your career? And when I say change the narrative, one of the key things that you want to do is you want to change how you look at things. So if your first thought when you're thinking about, oh my gosh, if I, grow this business, if I launch it and it's great and everybody loves it, how do I keep the momentum going? Instead of thinking about that negative, think about the goal of, wow, I'm going to launch this business. It's going to be amazing. People are going to love it. And then I'm going to give it maybe 6 to 12 months to grow on its own. I'm going to scale it how I feel it should be scaled. I'm not going to worry about outside noise or outside forces. I'm going to focus on what's best for my business and my growth. When you can change that narrative and change how you think about success and see it as stepping stones, and everything doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to always be what you think it should be, then you allow yourself to be more open to the success that's to come. One of the big things I did when I launched my coaching practice was I took learnings from launching my photography business. And I said to myself, okay, you know what? In the first one, you were so nervous, you launched, you had a lot of clientele, you put a lot of pressure on yourself to continuously perform at this high level. Even though your clients were happy with the production of their images, you put that on yourself. How do you change that in your coaching practice? And as a coach, we learn how to tackle some of those things that are challenging us and keeping us from being successful. And so what I learned when I launched my coaching practice was I set goals for what I wanted at every stage of my practice. And that allowed me to see success on my own level. So instead of the narrative that, oh my gosh, I launched, I need this many clients, I've got to always produce at this level, I've got to always be out there, I've got to always have clients, coming back and saying, this is great, you helped me solve this, I've got to always hit that mark every time. I decided to define what success was for me, and I changed the narrative to, you know what, this month, if I have one client that feels like they had a breakthrough, that's a success. If I do one speaking engagement or I do this, that's a success. Oh, I want to grow and do on-demand coaching. I'll do a little bit at a time. So I set up my success parameters based on what my goals were for myself and not necessarily what others would have thought my goals should be. So now let's look at the third element, preparing for what's to come. This is probably one of the most important of the three elements, because in building a successful business, especially as an entrepreneur, one of the things that we often tackle is, are we going to be successful? And then the other thing we sometimes think about is, well, what about what comes next? But often the what comes next that we think about is, okay, what's the next thing I'm going to do? But what we really should be thinking about is, how do we combat the challenges and the roadblocks that we need to prepare for? And some of those challenges may be as simple as, wow, I launched my product, I launched my service, my app, my entrepreneur endeavor. It's out there, it's successful. How do I prepare to take that success in? How do I prepare for the financial wealth that I'm about to get? Do I have my accountant in place? Do I have, my accounting systems in place? Am I prepared for the workflow that comes when I get a client? So now I've launched it. Everybody loves it. They're wanting to come to me, but have I put in place the workflow that makes it easy for me to maintain the level of service I want and the business I want? Also, thinking about what do I need to have in place on a personal level? How does this newfound success and the management of it, how will it affect my day-to-day life? How will it affect my family life? Do I need to put a structure in place with my family so that they know that they are still important to me, that I'm still navigating things, that I can still, show up and be present? And one of the things I think that we often forget in preparing for what's to come is, how do I navigate my balance? We hear all the time, you got to work hard and you have to do all these efforts to make it. Now, I won't sit here and lie to you and say hard work is not important, because it is. But what you want to do is you want to be prepared in how you want to manage that work. So decide for yourself, how do I find balance? And what does balance mean for me? And how do I prepare for that? Because when you have a prepared sense of state around how you're going to run your business, then it makes it okay for when things maybe you don't have to be there 24/7 to handle, but they're running for themselves. One of the biggest things that I did in all my business practices is I went to an automated system. So I still have that one-on-one touch with my clients and that detailed interaction, but I also automate on the back end so that any of the things that are day-to-day functions that need to happen, processes, payments, emails and things of that nature, they're automated. So it makes my life a little simpler, and I'm not worried about missing the interaction with my clients and being able to grow my business, because it's a, it's a individual type of environment where it is about relationships and communicating. So you want to think about, what is your business structure going to be like? Prepare for that before you launch. Make it a part of your launch plan. We always think about, I want to market my business. I want to get brand it, have a great logo, set up a really nice website. But don't forget, how will I manage my systems up front? How will I be prepared for what's to come? How will my client experience flow throughout my business so that my clients are happy, I'm not driving myself crazy being overworked, and I have a balance of my schedule? So all those things are a part of being prepared. And even though this is number 3 in the elements, to me, it's one of the most important to help you be successful. So to recap with you on what we've learned today, we talked about, number 1, it's really facing your fears and being ready to embrace whatever's to come next. So you have to face your fears head on, and you have to say to yourself, you know what? I can do this. I'll be successful. I can make it. I know I have some negative thoughts in my mind about what success will mean. And maybe if I can perform at that level every day, I may be feeling a little anxiety about it. But guess what? I'm acknowledging that fear. I'm acknowledging that anxiety. And I'm saying to myself, it's okay to feel that way. I just have to have a plan how to work through it. The second one we talked about is changing our narrative. And this is very important, because often we get confused about how we need to address things. Change the narrative in your mind. Change how you think about success. Give a new definition for success to yourself. Success to you may be, hey, I launched my brand. It was great. I have 3 new clients. And if I can maintain those 3 clients and perform at a high level for 6 months, then that's successful for me. The third thing, prepare for what's to come. And as I said, to me, this is one of the most important things. We are so eager to prepare for failure that we forget to prepare for success. So prepare to actually see your business grow, see people gravitate to it, see the clientele come in, and be ready with your systems in place and the way you want to balance your business, so you'll be a success and you'll be able to embrace the success wholeheartedly. So I want to thank you guys for taking this time with me today to talk about the fear of success. And I just want to remind you, fear can be a powerful motivator, but it can also feed self-doubt and keep you from taking the leap into what you were truly meant to do. Tackling fear head-on will be the driving force to managing the success you have and the success to come. I'm rooting for each one of you who's listening to this or watching this. And I want you to know, success is okay. Don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. Be ready for what's to come next, and be ready to see your business grows. I want to see more female entrepreneurs out there in the market. I want to see you. I want to see your business grow. I want to be able to support you in doing that. And if you ever get a chance, check me out online. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at DeShelia Spann. So just please, thank you for your time today, and stay strong and stay faithful in your success. Thanks, guys.